At the time I'm writing this, the Lent season is coming to an end, and I feel so reluctant to go back to social media and keep scrolling to anxiety, guilt, and depression. This is because I chose to give up my addiction to social media for the Lent season. So a few months ago, I reached peak anxiety to the point I was burned out. I thought doom scrolling was the way to escape this feeling, but instead, it added the fuel to the fire. I was scrolling through toxic positivity content, learning to optimize my exhausted brain to build my personal branding, indirectly comparing myself to others, and consuming unnecessary informations and giggles that I don't need to know. And worst of all, I was addicted. So the fire of anxiety and exhaustion just got bigger to the point I had to stop. That's why for Lent season, I had to give up one addiction, and that is social media. So for 40 days, I went through no social media. It was so peaceful. It made me more aware of myself and identify the things that could attract me to my addiction. And the idea of going back to social media sounds very disdainful now to me. And that's what 40 days of living under a rock was like. Not knowing what's on the news and trending. It's true what they say. The less you know, the better. This is the new habit that I really like. I was really unoptimizing myself online. And I want to share with you how I also stopped doom scrolling myself to death. Here are the things that help me break my cycle so that if or when I go back to social media, I won't go back to the same addiction. So number one, and the most important out of all, is that you don't need to be an insufferable know-it-all.
Are you incapable of restraining yourself, or do you take pride in being an insufferable know-it-all?
He's got a point, you know.
I tried. Anyways, in other words, you don't need to know everything that's been thrust upon you all the time. Buckle up because I have a lot to say about this. But first, let me tell you a story about why I reached this conclusion too. A month ago, I had a family gathering and my aunt heard that my Catholic family was giving up something we like for 40 days. Praying will be protected and blessed and all that. And then she told my cousin that perhaps he should do the same thing by not watching YouTube so much so that his work will also run smoothly. But he got so angry and said that that's his source of news and source of information and he won't give that up. And then he kept his eyes glued to the screen. This is not in any way to bash my relatives as they are not Catholics, but that moment was when I realized how hungry we are for any possible source of information, even if it won't affect us. The online world has taken our attention away from our real lives and that we have to know every single kind of information or news. Thanks to the internet and with the platforms organizing the type of information we're getting, such as news, people's life you don't really want to know on social media, and whatever calls and messages we get instantly from people, the internet decides that we just have to know everything by thrusting them in our faces. All in the phone. All the darn time. Hence, the rise of FOMO. It seems like not a lot of people can resist it for its views and popularity. Now, with a tool that can give people more visibility, a chance to get some of them. And that's what makes everything so optimized just to appease the algorithm. And it's bleeding into reality too, for visibility. Tech companies took this visibility as an opportunity, commercializing the success by bringing in other companies to advertise their business. Now, every time someone's got the views and popularity, they must replicate that to earn more cash. Sell anything, even the strangest looking dolls online. And before there are people who will argue with me about their love of Labubu, tell me, what is it that you like about these dolls? If you can give me 3 convincing reasons why I should collect these things aside because it's trending, comment below and I'll consider. Most of the time, no one understands why it's trending. I can understand for Funkos, but not Labubus, and then that's why their sales are suffering now. But this is the point I'm making. We're commercializing popularity. We would sell even the crappiest product to the world just because it's popular. And most of the time, they're paid to go viral. And PewDiePie has called out this kind of contents.
Most viewed video has 600 million views. What the actual? That's more than half than Call Me Maybe. Are you saying, like, everyone in the entire fucking world should know who this kid is? I bet you most of you who've seen this video have no fucking clue. How do you get that amount of views? So, congrats. You paid for views.
And the worst part is that people are abandoning morality for this. Even the love to protect their own children for views and popularity. I don't want to be too harsh on these tech companies since they're a business and they must make money. I just have a problem when measuring success by now. is about views and popularity, and then there's no further inspection on why these things can go so popular. So people just flock to these products to get some of the popularity. And as a result, this is the kind of thing that's pushed to your face now. Highly optimized contents that could barely connect with people. What's worse, AI adds more fuel to the flame, creating a distorted reality of humanity. Nothing feels real anymore. We can't trust anyone or any contents out there. Influencers are stealing your money or doing whatever they can to maximize their reach for profit. No genuine connections detected so long as they are optimized for view. This is why this is the first mindset we must break. We don't need to know everything. So the next time some products or services got so viral, ask ourselves, why are they important to you? Do you need it? By not being an insufferable know-it-all on the internet, you can avoid doom scrolling and brain rotting and buying yourself to bankruptcy. Okay, now that that part is addressed and you got the point, cool. We can now move on to the next point, the source of the FOMO that we must break. No social media. This is the most obvious, and a lot of people are doing this. Till Solo's time, it's the source of all our anxieties and depressions and all the endless information where sometimes we don't have to know. It might still be difficult to stop yourself from social media, and that platform is highly addictive. I was addicted too. That started doom scroll. So there are things I did to make myself bored with social media. One of them is not care about the news. Not even how my friends are doing, nor what's going on around the world. I delegated that task to my friends to check the news or whatever news pops up on YouTube. Then next, make the color of your screen black and white. It really helps so that you're not interested in seeing how pretty the pictures in your iPhone is. Anyways, it's for these reasons that I was able to survive a month without scrolling. Sure, I've got friends who still reach out to me there, sending me reels, and we discuss them there, but that's it. On my Instagram, I may have 600 plus followers, but only 10% of them are connections. Probably less than that. The rest are BS, and when their posts came up, sorry to say, sometimes, for some people who I'm not close with anymore and I haven't seen them in decades, I feel like I don't need to know the life updates. And as much as I hate to admit, these updates has given me unhealthy comparisons. Sorry to say. I suddenly felt like a failure and achieved nothing in life. I thought of moving abroad, which I know I shouldn't be doing. But when I avoided social media, that mindset is just gone. It only appears when I open the app. So yeah, that's how I realized that I really need to get out of these platforms before I feel sorry or pity myself, wishing for a better life like the ones on Instagram. It's like I was competing with everyone when in reality we're supposed to compete with our past selves. But these platforms will just keep telling you how the other person, the other side of the country is doing and their life updates, which most of the time we don't really need to know. That was how I had enough with social media and took a break for a while. And for Lent season, had a lot of heart-to-heart conversations with myself, wrote down all my feelings, and did lots of reflections on how I got here. Once I identified my main source of anxiety, I made a huge commitment to myself to stay away from these addictive platforms and made it a fast for Lent season. So after nearly 40 days since the beginning of Lent, I can officially confirm that I haven't felt those things again. Sure, there are still some bad feelings that I've experienced, but it was more honest feelings rather than artificial. More real instead of getting mad at strangers online. And it's much better to handle, actually. I felt pulled more towards the present. I wasn't easily distracted. My habit of reaching for my phone gradually decreased, and it felt freeing to just be. Rather than wanting to be an insufferable know-it-all by opening these platforms, I was able to explore new hobbies, create something like this, and I also realized that it's also okay to rest rather than grind. And I'm able to truly appreciate my life instead of constantly comparing myself to others. And I want to improve myself on my own terms. And with that thing out of the picture, this also created a chain reaction to another bad habit that I now manage to break. And that is, no phones in the bathroom. I'm telling you, I can finally truly feel refreshed, no puns intended, after a shower without exhausting myself. Back then, I used to have shower thoughts. My mind would wander. I'd see animal shapes on walls, and I'd be creative in the bathroom. But everything changed since the Fire Nation attack. Just kidding. Although it kinda did. But since phones came into the picture, especially shorts and TikToks, I'd scroll my way to oblivion until my feet would feel numb. My thoughts were not my own, and I became the product of these tech companies. Now, ever since I took a break, I managed to stop the habit of bringing phones in the bathroom because of the previous points I made. I think social media played a lot of role bringing phones to the bathroom, and now that I have stopped my source of scrolling addiction, I began to question, what's the point of bringing the darn phone into the bathroom if I know I won't be entertained? That question helped me to put the phone in my room as I'm going to shower. So yeah, that bad habit is finally slashed, and I can shower in peace. Which brings me to my next point. Throw the phone across the corner. Well, not literally, but yeah, just keep it in a corner, far away from you. There are suggestions to put phones outside your room, but I can't do that because I'm afraid that there might be emergency calls from family or friends. So what I did was throw it across the corner, away from where I'm working on this. In fact, right now, as I'm writing this, my phone is not on my work table. It's at the far corner of my bed. This has helped me so much to focus. In fact, I vibe coded a 1-hour countdown to help me focus on my task and not reach for the phone. I felt a lot more in sync with doing my work, and even better, when I'm relaxing, I do things other than the phone. Hence, I replace the phones with books or video games. This has helped me unwind a lot. In fact, recently I've been trying Minecraft for the very first time, and it was not only relaxing, but I also loved the freedom to build my own home virtually and explore different places. I guess I can now understand why people still play that game to this day. I played for hours because I was enjoying it a lot, and it's so much better than doom scrolling. Though at some point my eyes can't handle it, so I switched to books. I have my own rule when I'm reading during the day, and that is, one day, one chapter. It's given me a small accomplishment, and I couldn't help but read some more. And before I knew it, I was reading 3 chapters a day. I finished reading 2 books in the last couple of months, and that's low-key one of the most fulfilling feelings in the world. So that's how I'm optimizing myself from scrolling, by optimizing my brain to not reach for the phone and being as JOMO as possible. Now, I don't know what's going on in the world. I don't care what's trending. I don't know what my friends, whom I haven't talked to for decades, are doing. Just my close circle of friends. I don't care about anybody's life's update aside my close friends again and family, and I just don't care about what's up. Well, I guess aside the war, since it's all over YouTube, I only want to know about what's going on around me. But I won't bother to know what's going on around the world anymore. Besides, what good that you know about it anyway, generally speaking. Anyways, that's all I have to say. I hope these methods I've shared may be of help. If you have any other suggestions, do let me know, and have a great day.